Good morning. Welcome to another episode of Coffee and Vulvas. That's becoming one of my favorite things to do. Today I'm talking about the shame, and I made a post about this not too long ago, and I've been reading a lot of it about how we are actually inflicting shame upon women who are suffering from pelvic floor dysfunction and other situations. And I think that it's something that literally just we need to be more aware of it, because we don't even think about sometimes the words and the things that we say that can contribute to kind of shame for women. First and foremost, I've got my little Nespresso cup. I've got a double espresso with a little half and half. I have a sweet spot for saucers and cups. They make me very happy. So pinkies up. It's that kind of day, guys. Anyways, so you guys know that my mission is to eliminate shame and guilt around pelvic floor dysfunction, sexual assault, and abuse. And that's something that I've been talking about for a long time now. And what I mean by that, I recognize that it's really not something that I've been really clear on what I mean. But when we're like inflicting shame on a woman, we're really like not giving her space to talk about the things that are really bothering her. And in my realm of work, that is talking about urinary incontinence, because let's face it, guys, it is embarrassing. It's something that we initially don't see as a big deal, but one of my clients yesterday said it the best. She said, I see it in my parents, I've seen it in a lot of clients and things like that, where you start with urinary incontinence, but then it becomes UTI, but then it becomes Alzheimer's, and then you're in a skilled nursing facility needing help to get off the toilet. So for her, it wasn't about getting exercises or anything. It was about preserving her quality of life. And that is really important for all of us to wrap our head around what physical therapy is. It's not about exercise. It's about the preservation of who you are, of your body and your life. And that is such a beautiful way to put it. And I appreciate that client for giving me that mindset, because it is, and that's what we're trying to do. But whether it's urinary incontinence and things that you're saying, to me, it's actually inflicting shame on a woman who comes to you. So if she comes to you and says that I am leaking with this movement, or I'm leaking with exercise, and you say something like, well, everybody does, or, well, yeah, you've had kids. Oh, but you're pregnant. Those are shaming women for coming to you and saying, I have this issue, and you're not allowing her space to have this issue, and you're not allowing her space to explain what's going on with her, to you. You're not giving her that opportunity, which makes us feel very ashamed that we even have the issue and that we came forward with it. And that shame builds guilt, and then we feel guilty about even saying anything in the first place. And so you're starting this cycle for people that is just not healthy. Urinary incontinence is only one of them. It's really surprising, to many people when I say this, but a lot of people have fecal incontinence. They're not likely to say anything about it, though. So fecal incontinence is the loss of stool. So you're pooping yourself. And it's not something, again, to make jokes about, because it happens. And there's a lot of things out there that talk about sharding, farting and then pooping at the same time, and different things like that. And we just really need to be conscious and conscientious about our wording with that. And then, because we don't want to inflict shame, because we don't want, sorry, I've got hair everywhere. We don't want to inflict someone to feel uncomfortable talking about it, because we're already uncomfortable talking about it. And so why would we make it more uncomfortable to talk about, right? So being really conscious about how you are wording these things. Things like, I had reshared a post from a friend of mine, Chris, Chris, I'm probably going to butcher your last name, but I'll post it again so that I don't do that on a video. But she posted about the wording and that being super important, strong as a mother and things like that. Don't assume by saying that a term like that is going to empower all women, because some women are crying themselves to sleep right now because they have a newborn and they have no idea how to get any sleep, or they're not able to produce their own breast milk and they're feeling really ashamed about that. Or they feel totally uncomfortable in their skin now postpartum, and their spouse is not helping them. I'll bring up also a situation with my client where she was telling me that her and her spouse were having dinner, and she had lost a lot of weight recently, postpartum weight, and she's been working really hard to do that. And her spouse had made a comment of, oh, it's nice to see your abs are coming back. Men, if you're listening to this, you have to be really cautious about that. And I'm not saying walk around eggshells by any means, but just think about what you say before you say it. Another client of mine goes out, she does all kinds of things, and people are telling her, oh, congratulations, and she's not pregnant. She's postpartum. She has diastasis recti. She has some extra subcutaneous fat around her belly. And they are saying things openly and out loud that is causing her incredible amounts of shame. So she's really ashamed. Now she will not wear clothes that are not super baggy. And she's working with me to try to get over that. And then we are talking about mental health counseling and all of these different things. And really the whole point of all of this, I could go on and on. Diastasis recti is a big one. Let's not shame women into thinking that they can or cannot do something because of a diagnosis. It's freaking ridiculous and it pisses me off. There is absolutely no reason for you to take that right away from a client. Okay, so if a client comes to you and she says, I am 8 weeks postpartum and I want to restart going back to CrossFit, and you tell her no, you're inflicting shame on her. And if you're saying you can't do that, you shouldn't do that, that's a really bad thing to try to do, you're inflicting shame upon her. How about we transition our mindset and everything, and we use our education and our expertise as clinicians, and we go into educating her on what we can do to get her back to that goal. It's not rocket science, right? It's all about that communication, and you all know that I preach on that a lot. It is really, really important that we understand, specifically in women's health, but in the clinical realm at all. And if you're a client listening to this is important to find in your clinician. Find someone that's willing to have that conversation with you, and find someone that's not making you feel ashamed of what you came there for. And it's really hard to kind of live a life when you're feeling ashamed of what's going on already, and if you're feeling ashamed of your body, and if you're feeling ashamed of your skin, if you're feeling ashamed of what's going on, always reminding yourself to find that village and that support group that's going to help to build you up and remind you what you did during pregnancy, and to remind you how powerful you are for birthing a baby, and to remind you that if you are pregnant, you're a powerful human being. I could talk about this forever. Inflicting shame upon women is just it's not a fair deal, right? And so our words matter. It really matters, that conversation that we're trying to have with people. So if you are talking to your friends and your friend says something about pain with sex, instead of saying, oh, well, you're postpartum, it is what it is, how about you say something like, I'm so sorry that you're dealing with that. That must be really hard. Right? Think about the difference that's going to give. That's going to offer support to her instead of making her feel like, oh, something's wrong with me, I'm broken. Because something is not wrong with you and you're not broken. We have to be able to kind of change that conversation and communicate in a better way. Of course, none of it's normal, but is saying that it's not normal, but it's common, but it's not normal, is that not inflicting shame on clients? Won't that make someone feel ashamed to come to you for that issue? And this is something that I've just learned recently. Is that conversation saying that it's common but it's not normal, is that not making some clients feel ashamed that it's happening? Doesn't that mean that something's wrong with me then, if it's not normal? So I've been really working on my conversation and communication with clients, but really focusing on them and trying to tell them how they can change that conversation with themselves, within their household, with their spouse, with their babies, with their kids, all of these things, because I think that that's really where it starts, with that full, total recovery and recognizing the importance of that. And I will say next week I actually have a photo shoot for some fitness photos to help with my branding and to help with changing up the business. You guys know I've grown a lot recently, right? And it's time for me to actually be on my website, as the PT that treats these athletes and these women and all of this. And so I'm excited to do that, but I was a little nervous because we clarified that I have to be in a sports bra and leggings. And I started to feel ashamed because, during quarantine, I didn't get to lift as heavy as I usually do. I don't really lift heavy as much as I probably should because I've been sick for so long. I haven't been sleeping, so I haven't been exercising a whole lot. And then I started to go through all of these things, and I felt so ashamed thinking about being in a sports bra and leggings and letting people see my body. But then I had to step back and recognize how powerful it is for me to do the work now to get through that feeling and then go and show up and be who I know my clients need me to be, because I want to be that person that you don't feel ashamed to tell those things to. I'm tearing up right now because it is really my passion. And I know that this is a super long video, but I hope that what you've gotten out of it is that this is what my life meaning is. This is what I want to do for you. I love you, and I'm here for you, and I'm here to support you and offer you that safe space. And I think that it's just really important to stop shaming women, and to pay attention to our words around anything that's going on with that, because it's just so incredibly important, and it can make or break a woman and making her feel that she's broken or not. And I've been there. I've felt broken. I've been told something was totally wrong with me. I've had so many conversations where people are saying you're messed up or all of this or you're not normal and all that good stuff. And it's been a hard journey. So I don't want to do that to anyone else. So it's really important we pay attention to our conversations and our words. And I appreciate those of you that do reach out to me when I'm communicating via content or when I'm doing a video, and those of you that take the time out of your day to reach out and say, hey, this actually affected me, or in a positive or a negative way, because I take feedback differently. Everybody is different. But I think that it's just really important to be open to the fact of, hey, this is what's going on. This is how this made me feel, and I don't appreciate that. And showing us, those of us that are speaking out for your voice, show us those posts, show us that information so we can help you. We're here for you. I hope you have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll see you next time in Coffee and Vulvas.